A devotion, March the 12th. Exodus 10:13-19. The Lord brought an east wind upon the land all that day and all that night, and when it was morning, the east wind brought the locusts. Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron in haste, and the Lord turned a mighty strong west wind, which took all away the locusts and cast them into the Red Sea. There remained not one locust in all the coast of Egypt. See how in the olden times when the Lord fought for Israel against the cruel Pharaoh, the stormy winds wrought out their deliverance, and yet again, in that grandest display of power, the last blow that God struck at the profound defiance of Egypt. A strange, almost cruel thing it must have seemed to Israel to be hemmed in by such a host of dangers. In front, the wild sea defying them. On either hand, the rocky heights cutting off all hopes of escape. The night of hurricane gathering over them, it was as if that first deliverance had come only to hand them over to more certain death. Completing the terror, there ran out the cry, "The Egyptians are upon us." When it seemed they were trapped for the foe, then came the glorious triumph. Forth swept the stormy wind and beat back the waves, and the hosts of Israel marched forward down into the path of the great deep, a way arched over with God's protecting love. On either hand were the crystal walls glowing in the light of the glory of the Lord, and high above them swept the thunder of the storm. So on through all that night, and when at dawn of the next day the last of Israel's host set foot upon the other shore, the work of the stormy wind was done. Then sang Israel unto the Lord the song of the stormy wind, fulfilling his word. The enemy said, "I will pursue, I will overtake, I will divide the spoil. Thou didst blow with thy wind, the sea covered them. They sank as lead in the mighty waters." One day, by God's great mercy, we too shall stand upon the sea of glass, having the harps of gold of God. Then we shall sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. We shall know then how the stormy winds have wrought out our deliverance. Now you see only the mystery of this great sorrow. Then you shall see how the threatening enemy was swept away in the wild night of fear and grief. Now you look only at the loss. Then you shall see how it struck at the evil that had begun to rivet its fetters upon you. Now you shrink from the howling winds and muttering thunders. Then you shall see how they beat back the waters of destruction and opened up your way to the godly land of promise. By Mark Guy Pearce. Through winds are wild and the gale unleashed, my trusting heart still sings. I know that they mean no harm to me. He rideth on their wings. And that's today's devotion.